Opening day has come and gone, and the Detroit Tigers came into San Diego, California, and put a halt to the opening day excitement for the Padres and took the series in San Diego 2-1 in commanding fashion. And now the Padres turn around and face an in-division foe in the Giants, who just got swept at home by the New York Yankees. So let's get right into it, all right here on Padres Banter. The Padres lose the opening series of 2026 to the Detroit Tigers at home 2-1, as the Detroit Tigers really dominated this entire series, but managed to scrape away a win in game 3 to avoid the sweep were the Padres. But a lackluster series, guys. I know this is a talented Tigers team, but it was a lackluster series. We could have won game 2, but the bullpen obviously didn't prevail in late innings. We did have game 3, but game 1, we absolutely got shellacked. Um, but we need to be better. We need to be better. There's no room for complacency. I understand that it's game 1, game 2, and 3 of 162, and series 1 of 52. But like I said, there's no room for complacency. This team has been historically slow when it comes to starting seasons off. And I know last season we started 5-0, but didn't have a great time after that. We need to be better. This is a new regime. There is new things going on, but at the end of the day, there's no room for what is going on because of the fact that in the competitors in us, we always want to improve. There's no, oh, it is what it is. Unless that's the way of this ball club. I don't know. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, new regime, we want to try some new things out, and that's obviously what these first series are for. But we only have so much time to feel things out, because I know 162 sounds like a marathon, and it is. It is. But it goes by so fast. It goes by so quick. And game 1, 2, and 3 are just as important as game 160, game 150. We've been historic on getting to the end of the season and having pivotal games at the end of the season that we need to win, when realistically there was games early on in the season that we could have handled, could have won, that we just threw away because of the fact that it's April, it's March, or it's we need to be better. No room for complacency, but at the end of the day, we scraped away a win, managed to not get swept in an opening series at home, for crying out loud. Um, we did play better baseball in game 2 and 3, but now we got to turn around and play a Giants ball club that just got swept by the New York Yankees at home, and they're obviously going to be motivated and try and win. Not to mention the fact that this is an in-division foe. These games matter times 2. So we really need to go ahead and push and win these ball games. The Giants don't look great, but we don't even look that much better. So as much as we want to go ahead and judge how other people look at this point in time, we need to focus on what we got going and what we got on our plate between the manager, the lineup, and what is going on with the bullpen decisions. So let's get right into it. With opening day has come and gone, and now we are here. One series into 2026 as the Tigers take the series in San Diego 2-1, with the Padres taking the series finale to avoid the sweep on the series opener. This is a game 3 of 162, and no need for overemphasize or exaggerate things, but if your team wants to succeed and try and win a World Series, game 3 is just as meaningful as game 160, like I had mentioned. Yes, it is early, but in order to progress, there will always be things to critique and fix, and this isn't to be anal, but even coaches would agree that there is always room for improvement, even in game 3, especially with the results that we have been getting in this past series against the Tigers. As a competitor and former athlete, it's instilled in us to want to strive and be better, even though it is early. There is room for complacency, and there's no room for complacency. And just being nonchalant about how we're going about our things is not how we want to go about it. So, because truthfully, to me, again, I know it's early, but there are signs, and glaring signs at that, and similarities of what this team did last season and now with the manager who, to be honest, we can't trust to make the best decisions because he hasn't had a managerial experience at any level. There's glaring signs of not hitting with runners in scoring position. Starting pitching will carry, and we will hit out hit teams, but will not score the runs when needed. Again, it's early, guys, but that's what the motto was last season. But let's go ahead and break down the series and how we got to this point and how we're going to go ahead and manage to get a sweep or at bare minimum 2 games against the New York Giants. So let's get right into it as game one brought opening day 2026 as Nick Pivetta would go ahead and take the mound to face off against the reigning back-to-back Cy Young winner in Tarek Skubal as the Tigers would ruin opening day 2026 for the Padres and Padres fans, handing them a loss at home 8-2. Skubal dealt the Padres a masterful opening day, going 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, no walks, 6 Ks, 7 on 74 pitches, throwing up zeros left and right as the Tigers also had 12 hits behind Tarek. I mean, it was almost like 10 pitches an inning he was throwing. Just ridiculous. And this is exactly why he is the back-to-back Cy Young winner. Rookie Kevin McGonigal made his presence felt not only in Petco Park and for the Padres team, but for the MLB community, as he would have a rare 4-hit career debut for the rookie shortstop drafted back in 2023 in the CBA round. McGonigal would go 4 for 5 with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs, as Dingler would also have a bomb with 3 RBIs. As the other side of the spectrum, Nick Pivetta would not have his best stuff on opening day, and he would go 3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 Ks on 69 pitches. Not to mention the Padres' bats were asleep and didn't help much behind Pivetta, with only 5 hits and 2 runs coming late in the 6th and 7th innings. The Pods would go 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, leaving 7 on base and 7 strikeouts, as the team would be hoping that game 2 would be a tad different, as it was a little bit different, but the same result as game 2 was a little bit different. Like I said, a great start by Michael King. Framber Valdez also had a great start, and the Tigers would get the win 5-2, as Valdez would go 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 runs, an earned run, a walk, and 5 Ks on 83 pitches, with the Tigers backing him up with 5 runs on only 6 hits. See, that's what you want, right? You want production with those limited hits. McConaughey would go 1 for 3, or would have a 1 for 3 night, but a key 2 RBI single late in the game with a walk. Man, he was making his presence felt this entire series. The Tigers K'd 9 times, but a late inning blow up by the Padres bullpen cost them the lead in the game, as Estrada in the 8th inning didn't get the job done. King would have a great start. Absolutely fantastic start. 5 innings pitched, 1 hit, an unearned run, 4 walks, 6 Ks on 82 pitches, and Andujar single, a Laureano RBI double, had a late lead. So you expect the bullpen to get it done, but the bullpen just didn't get it done with a 4-run Tiger 8th. Estrada in the 8th, Wandy after the bases loaded after Estrada. Also Merrill in the 4-hole against a lefty in Framber Valdez. There was a lot of questions to be asked in game 2. We still had all, the capability in the world and I guess the right pieces in some spots to be able to win this game, but just couldn't get the job done. And there has been question of why you put Estrada in those late game situations, and also why we go ahead and put Wandy in such crazy situations, especially knowing that I just don't think that he would prevail 9 times out of 10. A lot of pitchers won't. I understand that, but you want to mix it up a little bit and not always have Wandy Peralta coming in such critical situations in the game. But Stammen hasn't managed this game, hasn't managed this team, hasn't had any managerial experience. And I understand that he's been in the clubhouse and he's been a player. I understand all of that. And the decisions also can go through Ruben Niebla somewhat because of the fact that he is one of the better pitching coaches in the entire league. I understand that Craig Stammen would probably instill trust in him, but just questionable decisions at the top. It doesn't make a lot of sense why you would even have Jackson Merrill at the 4-hole. Number one, because I personally don't think that Jackson is a 4-hole hitter ever in his career. I've always lamented towards him being a 1, 2, or a 9, or even a 5 hitter. Never a 4-hole hitter. shoot, I wouldn't even put him at the 3. I've always viewed him since watching him come up through our, entire farm system and going to watch him in spring training. He is a contact, and if you put him in those situations, he will be that guy to be a contact first type of guy. But you obviously see the strikeouts and him swinging up and popping out a lot because he's putting him in the 4 hole. So again, a lot of questionable decisions. We had the capability to win this game, but just couldn't do it. In the end, was not a good start to the season as they started 0-2, and now on to Game 3, which was trying to avoid a sweep, but they did just that. Like I said, trying to avoid the sweep with Randy Vasquez on the mound, and did just that with a 3-0 dub. Randy, who seems to be now the ace of our staff, early pitched a gem after a rough first inning throwing 24 pitches. He bounced back and had a solid outing going 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 8 Ks on 91 pitches. Stellar. Beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. Command looked great. Fastball looked alive. It looks like he's upped his fastball velocity, and I know that it has been proven on a stat sheet, but it really looks good with the eye as of late. He looks like the true winner right now of the entire spring, as the Padres bats woke up earlier this game to avoid the sweep, as Tatis had a clutch 2-out RBI knock and stealing a bag, getting another run to score. Then having a Merrill sac fly was a great addition to get the 3-0 lead. The bullpen held it down as Kyle Hart came in and did a wondrous job. Looks as if him and Randy Vasquez were the true winners of spring. Kyle Hart did a fantastic job, and he looks electric. I know people were very skeptical about bringing him back onto our roster, but it's obviously paying dividends early. Then had Mason Miller close up shop and the series with the new and improved walkout song, Blind by Corn. Woo! That was fire. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't say enough. I can't say enough, guys. I didn't watch it live because I was on my way home, but this, I mean, I can't pick a better song for you to trot out onto the mound. It gives me Trevor Hoffman vibes, obviously, in his own right, in his own world. But man almighty, I just pray that, we can have Mason Miller for an extended period of time, and he goes down as one of the greatest Padres pitchers and closers of all time, right next to Trevor Hoffman. But this looks like the first step in the right direction, because, man, it's already daunting facing 102, 103. But now you got to, obviously have, a guy trotting out to Blind by Corn, who, mind you, my favorite closer with my favorite Corn song was a sight to see, guys. It was a sight to see. Didn't see it live. Can't wait to see it in person, though. Woo, I'm going to have my phone out. But avoided the sweep and got the W. Now we get rest on the irregular off day today. Something that won't happen often this season, but to come back better next series against an in-division foe who looks to be stumbling. Now we face off against, like I said, an in-division foe in the San Francisco Giants coming into town, who are a bad 0-3, guys. But we're not that much better. But if we're going to nitpick, going 13 of 91, batting 143, guys, 3 extra base hits, no home runs, and 204 on base percentage versus the New York Yankees in their opening series in San Francisco, was not a great showing for the first-time manager Tony Vitello. But to be honest, the Padres are not that much better after a lackluster opening series versus the Tigers. But we will have Walker Buehler on the mound, as he will make his debut as a Padre on Monday. Tomorrow, Herman Marquez will be on Game 2, and then we got Nick Pivetta to hit the corner for Game 3, making sure we at least get 2 Ws in this series, especially versus an in-division foe. Get an early lead and remove the tiebreakers from the equation, making sure that, these games also mean ×2. But am I thinking too crazy? Am I thinking too optimistic? Maybe, but this team is stumbling. Take advantage of it. Get a couple Ws, especially against a rookie manager, and see what we can do, man. I know we have a rookie manager, but, Tony Vitello has no kind of realm of what the MLB world is like, especially since he just came from the college ranks. No shade towards him whatsoever. I think he will be a decent coach or a decent manager. But that being said, there's been some early chatter over there in San Francisco, but we need to focus on ourselves. We need to focus on what we're doing, because we are not good whatsoever. Obviously, the first series is the first series, Game 1 of 162, and we're not trying to jump ship and get crazy here. It's series 1 of 52, but we have room to improve, guys. We really do. And so we need to take the right steps to get in the right direction, because this Dodgers team that I'm watching, highlights of, they're really good. They're really good. So let's see how we do, guys, against the San Francisco Giants. But that is a wrap of this first episode of Padres Banter of 2026 season. I'll see you guys next series when we recap the San Francisco Giants and the San Diego Padres. We out.